I am in a very special place. I'm with Kevin Vaughn, who has been breeding daylilies for how many years, Kevin?
45, it's sad to say.
Oh no, that's exciting for us. But you've actually only been in Oregon just a few years.
Correct, yeah. In growing daylilies here in Oregon is really a different game than it has been in both in Massachusetts and in Mississippi. It's things don't like Oregon quite as well as they did in those other places.
So they just don't perform as much as well?
And they don't open as well sometimes as well, which is a real problem here. In fact, here's one over here that shows that problem. In Oregon, we have cool nights.
Right, right.
And the sepals, which are the outer part of the daylily flower, if they get exposed to too many cool nights, will thicken, and so your flower won't open. And that's a real problem. You don't want things that look like tulips. You want them to look like daylilies.
Sure,
At least I do.
Well, we're very lucky to have you here because now you're breeding them for us, for the Pacific Northwest.
Correct. So what I found here is that we want things that open very wide and open wide early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that does that are the spider types.
Oh, beautiful.
Like this one here. And this one also shows you another point that we're trying to do as breeders. We're trying to get colors and patterns into the daylilies that we didn't have before.
Nice.
And here's one you can see
it's
we're
like
trying
a watermark,
to. It's a watermark, and we're also trying to get blue.
Oh, sure.
It's not blue, but it's closer than we have been in a long while. And so this is a nice, and this also produces a nice tall stalk, well above the foliage mound. It has lots of buds. So it has doing a lot of nice things here in Oregon. In fact, when I'm breeding here in Oregon, if they have bad hair days like that one over there, out they go.
Out it goes.
Yeah, and so, and I want to work with things like this that are much more amenable to the climate here. So.
Can you demonstrate exactly how that pollination, how that hand pollination works to get the seeds, to get all the seedlings?
It's very easy. In fact, I did it when I was 9. So
oh, you're kidding.
Any fool can do this one. So there are 6 little structures here, the anthers, that have the pollen. And the pollen is this orange-yellow structure, orange substance here at the end. And all you do is you put the pollen on that stigma like that. Mm-hmm. And you mark the cross with I use these little wires like this one here.
Okay.
To let you know that you've made a cross on that flower so you don't pull it off inadvertently.
Right.
And then, if you're lucky, a seed pod begins to form like that one right here. Mm-hmm. And in about 2 months, it'll mature and you'll have between 1 and 20 seeds in that seed pod. They're cool looking seeds. They're like patent leather shoe black. And they're shiny like that patent leather shoes too. And I plant them in the fall and they come up then and grow over the winter. I row them out and a year later they bloom.
Okay, and then do you go through and you select how many maybe out of that group?
Oh, out of probably about 5% out of the group gets saved, which is, maybe 50 plants in my case, sometimes up to 200. And of that, only maybe 1 or 2 ever gets a name and goes to the market, because you want to make sure something is very distinct and very unusual before you put a name on it. There's too many that have been named and are not pretty.
Good plants. And you even look at the plant itself. I mean, it's not just the flowers. You want to make sure that that gardener that buys that is going to love that plant. It's going to do well in their garden.
Exactly. You want something that is a powerful plant. It should increase well. My mother always called daylilies a plant that any fool could grow.
They are nice and easy, which is great.
Yes, and I like to keep them like that. Mm-hmm. There's too many that are miffy now that aren't good. So I think we really need them to stay as good perennials.
Right, right. And so what do we look for? As a gardener, I'm shopping. What do I look for that's going to be a good one for me in this area?
Okay, in Oregon, you probably want to stay with things that don't have very complicated edges. So things that look in the catalog like they have almost like chicken fat around the flower, those tend to be not good in Oregon. Okay. But things that are like spiders that open very flat and open like that don't have the frilly edges are going to do well here. Small flowers tend to do very well here, and miniature flowers do well here. Also, things that bloom late in the season, which would be horrible in the south because it would be too hot.
Too hot, sure.
It's fine here.
Yeah, it's our hottest time, sure.
That's right.
July, August.
And so flowers, the daylilies that are late in the season, open like that. They're just perfect. Nice. So yeah, it's really good.
And what about the multiple flowers per stem? Should we look for that bud count? Or?
Yes, and so generally the catalog will tell you how many buds to expect on a stalk. Some of them rebloom as well, especially the ones that are miniatures that oftentimes will rebloom. and that's a nice quality too. In fact, one I named Scale Model blooms here from May right through November.
Wow.
So that's the kind of perennials we want.
All right,
So,
and then what about culture for us? Amend the soil?
it's very, the only thing that I think people in Oregon don't do enough is give them enough moisture.
Okay.
I think daylilies are sort of water pigs. So at least an inch a week.
Wow, okay.
So they want, and in Florida, the nurseries there, every afternoon, the sprinklers go on from 4 to 5, solid.
Whoa.
So that's a lot
really
of water.
deep water.
They give them a deep water. Here, not so much, because we don't have the evaporation they do in Florida.
Right.
But an inch a week is good. So yeah, and that keeps them very happy, and also that will promote the rebloom.
Okay.
So if you keep them really wet, you'll get new stalks appearing all the year. So which is nice bonus. So.
Right. Well, that's all good tips. You know, Kevin's new to our area, so we're going to hear a lot from him. And so when we hear he's going to be introducing some to the market, we'll let you know. Thanks so much, Kevin.
Thank you, Judy. Have a good day.
You too.